I usually ask everybody, how did you get into podcasting? But I have a feeling that story has been told 6 gajillion times by you on various podcasts, including the 3 gajillion that you have started on your own. So instead, real quickly, I just want to kind of like take me through, not when you started to podcast, but really when you started to work in podcasts and really become part of the industry, and what that was like for you as someone who, just kind of jumped into the space on a whim.
Yeah, it's kind of weird in a way. I remember the very first event. It was in, I believe, 2006 in Ontario, California, the metropolis of Ontario, California, which I never heard of. And we're in a Holiday Inn. And it was weird because all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm not the only nerdy guy playing with this stuff. And so you start to make connections. Like that's where I met Todd Cochran and a bunch of other people. And it wasn't until really when I got involved, like the industry, because I was doing the School of Podcasting, and that's where it was fun. I had Rob Walsh on the show. I had Todd Cochran. I was kind of like Switzerland. I could work with all the different media hosts. And when I lost my teaching job, I was like, well, I'd like to work in podcasting. And I was like, well, where would I work? And I'm like, well, Libsyn's the best. So let's go there. And called up Rob and had a quick conversation. And so that's kind of where it began. Just when I originally, when I got laid off at my teaching job, I called my then wife and I said, hey, I think I'm going to do the School of Podcasting full time. And she went, yeah, no, you're not. And I went, what? And she's like, yeah, no, sorry, thanks, And I'm like, but honey, you're a nurse. You make tons of cash and you have great health benefits. But, and so that's kind of how I got into Libsyn. And it's just a matter of, I'm curious. So I'm always talking to people about new tools and different strategies that they're doing. And so I think it was just a matter of like podcasting is the bubble that I live in. And so there are other people that are, there's a whole true crime thing that I know it's huge, but there's like little mini celebrities in there. And then, every little genre has their own little bubble. I remember when I went to, I think it was called VidCon in Seattle, and I'd never seen cosplay. And if nobody tells you what cosplay is, and you walk in and you're like, why does that guy have elf ears on? And it was Welcome to Nightville. All these people were dressed like characters in Welcome to Nightville. And then when I went into the big room, and it looks like a Metallica concert with 2 big giant screens, and the whole room is filled, and everybody was laughing at jokes that I had no idea what they were. They were all inside jokes. And if you listen to that podcast, you got them. I was sitting there scratching my head while people are rolling out of their seats like it's showtime at the Apollo. And that's when I went, wow, this is a whole other bubble that I've known nothing about. So it's kind of interesting how you get immersed into what you think is the industry. And instead, it's just a little small, chunk of it.